Hi children, welcome to Active Learning. So this is the continuation of 2019 first paper discussion. So in this video, I will be discussing from question 21 to the rest of the 40 questions. So there's another video for part 1 for this series where I have been discussing about first 20 questions of the 2019 paper. And there are other videos in my channel from grade 6 onwards to grade 11, which covers all the theory parts. And I have done some other past paper discussions as well. So please go and visit if you haven't visited my channel before, right? Okay, let's start with the question. Question 21 to 24 are based on the following partly shown database tables that are used to store data about books, students, and books referred or reserved by students in a school library, right? So the first table is book. So it has a book ID, so that's the primary key, and title, and the reserved. So this reserved means whether this book is reserved or not. So usually this is normally we don't add a column like this, right? Because usually book table will have details about books. But here we have a reservation related detail also, right? Because you can see in one of the MCQs, this is really matters. So a lot of students has done a mistake there. And then the next table is student table, which has student name, student ID, grade, and the whether it is or she is a library member or not. So in this table, you have student data as well as whether it's a library member or not information also in this particular table. Then we have reservation table. We have student ID, reserved date, and the book ID. So you can understand this is a reservation information, right? Whether the book is reserved by the student or not, like that. So this has the primary key of all three because student ID itself cannot be unique because it can be repetitive. A student can get many books, right? Reserved date also can be repetitive, and book ID can be also repetitive because same book can be reserved by many students, right? So the all three columns should be included as the primary key in this table, right? I'm just telling some extra thing here. So let me highlight the primary keys. So it's easy to understand. How many fields are in the student table? So before going to that, let me quickly explain some of the theory parts here. Right. So this is from the textbook I have taken. So in this particular table, we have fields. Fields are columns actually. So in the first table, we have 4 columns and 4 fields. And there are 2 tables you can see, right? Right. And we have records. Records means each row. So here in this table, there are only 2 records. In this table, we have 4 records, right? So that is for the question 21. We'll go for the paperback, right? For the 21st one, they ask how many fields are there in the student table. You can see in the student table, 1, 2, 3, 4 fields are there. So how many records? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 records, 4 fields, right? What would be an example of a foreign key in the database, right? The foreign key means now, for example, this book ID is the primary key of this particular table. But if you think about this table, the book ID can be referred to this one, right? So this is the foreign key in the reservation table. Book ID is the foreign key, right? And same as for the student ID, you can refer to this student table with this ID. So student ID and book ID are foreign keys in the reservation table, right? So here we'll see what would be an example of a foreign key in the database. So book ID in the reservation table. So as we have discussed, that is the answer. Now, if we go back and check the other answers, for the student, it's grade. No, it's just some value. And reserved date in the reservation table, no, it's the primary key. And title in the book table, no, that's kind of an information table column, right? What is the title of the book reserved by Kumar? So Kumar, we have to go for student data first. Kumar, 1002, right? So 1002, then we have to go for the reservation table to find the reservation. So 1002 student has done this particular date reservation. This is the book, B001. And then we have to go for the books table because we don't know what is B001. B001 is effective writing. So the answer would be the second one. Kumar has taken the effective writing book. A student gets the library membership and reserves a book. What tables need to be updated for this purpose? So this student is new. So definitely, so this student is new to the library, right? So this student table need to be updated when there is a new student, right? So we have to update this table, and he reserves a book, right? So definitely reservation table also needs to be updated with the book information and what book he reserved. So usually that's it. But in this case, we have a reserved column in this table, right? So when you take a book, for example, if you take B001, this reserved will become true, right? So therefore, all three tables should be updated. So a lot of students have make a mistake here, right? So that's why you have to always check your tables and understand what it means, right? Otherwise, these kind of questions will be wrong in your case. Now, usually as a practice, a lot of students have written book and the reservation table, but for the 24th one, all three tables should be updated because of this particular column. When you take a book, this should be updated. When you return back, it should become false. Okay. Next one, which of the following shows the correct order of testing a software system? Let's quickly go for the theory. We have four types of testing, right? Unit testing, integration testing, systems testing, and acceptance testing. So unit testing means each unit wise you are going to test. For example, in the library management system, we will have some book search functionality. So that is a unit. So that one you can test separately. You can enter a book name and search and see, right? So that is a unit wise you are doing testing. And integration testing means you do the unit testing plus after you do it, you integrate the units and test. For example, think earlier we had a user details info, you have to provide login and then you do the book search, right? So earlier we did the book search feature separately we have tested as a unit, and login and user management part we have done separate unit tested, and when we integrate it we can test the whole kind of two scenarios like user log and search for a book. So that's the integration part where we test it, right? Next thing is a system testing where the complete whole system you test, not only two units integration and test, but you test the whole system, right? Acceptance testing is usually done by the final client, right? So users of the system, right? They will use the system as their like usual product, and then they see whether it matches for their requirement. So in the acceptance testing is very important because if the client reject here, you are not going to get any money from the client, right? Because acceptance testing means clients is telling, okay, this is what I really needed, right? So that's the acceptance phase. So let's go back to the question. Which of the following shows the correct order of testing a software system? Unit testing should come first, and unit testing, integration testing, system testing, and acceptance testing. Answer would be the fourth one. Every web page on the World Wide Web has a unique identifier called. For the web page, it should be the URL. Right? Let's go for some theories here. So here it clearly tells a website consists of several web pages, and it can have text, images, videos, and other multimedia stuff, hyperlinks and everything. So to access a website, uniform resource locator URL should be typed on the address bar. So in a web browser is application software which we use to access the internet. So in the web browser, in the search bar, you have to type the URL and press enter. Right? Then it will go to navigate to the page which contains the basic information about the website. We call it as home page. So the home page of the website will be loaded when you type the URL, right? So IP address is different, right? IP address uniquely identify the computers of the internet, right? IP validation, sometimes IP address validations also they give in the MCQ. So let me quickly remind that as well. So it is a dotted decimal notation which has 4 values, right? And these 4 values should be in the range of 0 to 255. So if a value is more than 255, that is wrong IP address. Okay. So IP address for to identify uniquely computers in the internet. So then it will be a straightforward thing. Which of the following combinations contains only internet-related protocols? Right. So protocols means some set of rules and regulations which you need to follow, because internet is not having any owner, right? So it is controlled by the protocols, right? So it's kind of a system of law, right? So we have few protocols like HTTP. It's for HTML document exchange. Basically, for the web communication, we use HTTP. And TCP/IP is again transmission control protocol and internet protocol related to internet. And FTP, file transfer protocols, where you use to file transfers, file shares, file downloads, uploads. For that, we use FTP. SMTP is basically for emails, right? ICMP is basically for error handling, informing and controlling messages when there are errors, right? So we'll go back to the question. So you need to find only protocols. So in the first one, you have HTML. HTML is a markup language, not a protocol. Second one also you have HTML, not a protocol. Fourth one also you have HTML. So the answer should be the third one. Very easy. HTML is a markup language, right? Not a protocol. 28th one. Which of the following combinations represents only the services of the internet, right? So let me show you some theory here. So all these theories I have taken directly from the textbook, mainly because I want to show you that from the textbook, you can do a lot of things, right? You can get an easy A, right? If you know everything in the textbook. So don't find extra things at this stage. Anyway, you don't have like, when you are doing the last minute papers and all, don't try to find new knowledge now. So at least go through the textbook. Textbook has a lot of things. So you can definitely get a from there, right? So services of the internet, right? These are few services. World Wide Web, that's the most important thing, which it's kind of hyperlinked web content is provided. And file transfer protocol for, as I earlier told, file transfers. Remote access, you remote access to a computer, and it is usually used in our industry also for installing software for another machine, like that scenario. And file sharing, streaming of media like YouTube, right? Search engines. So search engines is where you go and search your content like Google and Bing, and emails, right? So I will go for the answers and see. So services, email, file sharing, remote access streaming. Yeah, it seems the answer. We'll go and see the other ones. You have web browsers. Web browser is not a service. It's an application software which we need to access the internet, right? In this one, you have HTML codes. HTML codes is a markup language thing. It's not a service. Next one, again, you have web browser. So that's not the answer. So very easy. 29th one, consider the following list rendered, right, by the web browser, and you have to find what are the tags you are going to use. So this is an unordered list, right, with this type. So definitely you have to go with the fourth answer because unordered list with list items, right? All others are wrong. 30th one, which of the following statements related to web page development are correct, right? So the content shown in a dynamic web pages may vary according to the user inputs and time. Yes, that's what dynamic web page means. Like, for example, if you log into Facebook, based on your login, your profile, your web page will totally differ from my one, right? So that's true. Dynamic web pages are created only using HTML. No, only using HTML, we cannot do it. HTML is only for static web page development. So for dynamic ones, you need some extra languages like C Sharp, maybe, or you need scripting languages like JavaScript and all these things. So so B is wrong. So B is wrong means you don't need to go for C at least because B is there for all these three answers. So definitely answer should be the second one, but we'll go and check. C, web authoring tools can be used to create web pages. Yes. So that's how in the exam also you have to pick the answers. You have to be smart, right? 31st one, which of the following tags can be used for HTML character formatting to make the characters like different, like italic, bold, emphasize, those stuff, right? So first one, yes, italic, bold, underline, and emphasize. So that will be the answer mostly. Because here you have P tag, paragraph tag, it's not for formatting. Here you have break to break the lines, go for the new line. So that's not formatting of text. And the next one you have LI, list items. So that's for the kind of unordered or ordered list to list down the items. So that's not character formatting. Okay. So 31st one, it will be the first one. Which of the following is correct posture to use when using a computer? So you can see it's a very easy one. First one is like very high angle. Seems first one, the second one is okay. Right, we'll put that answer. This one, bending your head, bending your back. So best one would be the second one, right? How many bits per pixel, BPP, are required to represent 32 colors? So let me show you the theory here. So colors per pixels used. The formula is it's equal to 2 into BPP. Now here the answer was like color per pixels they have given 32. So 32 is equal to the 2 to the power 1 x. That x is what they're asking, BPP. It's per pixel. So 2 to the power 5 will be 32, right? So here answer would be 5, right? So answer would be the second one. Because you can go for 2 to the power 5, then only you can represent 32 colors. What would happen to an image if its resolution is decreased? So let's go for some theories here. So resolution. So before that, what is pixels? Right? Pixels are kind of like tiny dots you can see in an image. When you zoom it, you can kind of see it. Right? So pixels are used to measure the physical dimensions of a graphic or an image. Right? So in this picture, you have 250 wide width and 175 pixel height. Right? So what is resolution? Resolution is this into this. That means 43,750 pixels. So if you have a high resolution, you have large number of pixels and the quality will be high, right? So that is what they have asked here. If the resolution is decreased, the file size and the quality will decrease, isn't it? Quality and the file size will be decreased. So it's a very easy one. Which of the following statements are true? Pascal is an example of a high-level programming language. Yes, high-level programming means it's easy for it is easy for people to read and understand. It's like English, like that. So B, high-level language programs are easier for programmers to understand than the low-level programming languages rather than the machine language. Definitely, this will be easier. High-level languages will be easier. A compiler translates a high-level language program into machine language instructions. Yes. So all three are correct. But let me quickly go and show you about some high-level languages, this especially the interpreter and compiler, because these two are needed to convert or to translate the high-level programming language to the lower-level programming language. The way they do is different. The interpreter basically, there are no syntax errors in the program, the statement will be executed, no issues. And if there are syntax errors, right, it will not execute up to the end. It stops the place where the error is reached. Up to that, the lines will be executed. So that's the difference between interpreter and compiler. The compiler, it translates the entire program to the lower level of the machine language as a whole, right? So if there are no syntax errors, the code will be translated to machine language. But if there are syntax errors, right, it won't be translating fully. Like if you have done the Pascal coding, you may have seen it will point out the errors. It won't do any executions. So Pascal has a compiler to do the translation, right? Next one. Consider the following pseudocode segment. So you have a begin, you read units, right? So if the units is less than 50, you do this. Else, if that means your units are like 51, you come to this one, else part. And again, you check whether the units are more than 50 and less or equal to 150. So if you have something like 100, it will execute here. Else, you do this. That means if your units are more than 150, like 180, it comes here, right? End if. So what would be the output if the value 175 is given the input as unit? So 175 means it goes to this part because it's not less than 50. It's not in between 50 and 150. So it comes here 250 plus 175 minus 150. That means 25. 25 into 5 is 125 plus 250 will be 375. Let me quickly show the workings. So it will be like this. Okay, so it's a very straightforward, I would say. Next one. What would be the output if a user inputs the numbers 4, 5, 2, minus 1, one after the other for the following pseudocode segment? So you have a terminal as minus 1, x as 0, and you repeat until. So repeat until, be careful. Repeat until means this will be executed until this condition is false. For example, 4 is not equal to minus 1. Then it will be executed. When this condition becomes true, it stops, right? So you can see minus 1 is given last. So minus 1 is equal to terminal. Yes, then that's the place where it stops. Okay, because when the condition becomes true, right? So what it does, display enter number, you get the number. So there are 4 times this will happen. If num is more than x, then you do this, else part is not there. And you do the repetition until this condition become true, right? So let me show you my workings, right? So I have starting with the num 452 minus 1. So your terminal is minus 1, x is 0. So you display the number and you get the number, right? So first number will be 4, right? So you come here, you check if 4 is greater than 0. Yes, true. So you come here, you change your x. Now your x will become 4, right? And you check the condition. Now your num is 4. 4 is it equal to minus 1? No. So this will repeat again. Then it takes the second number, right? Num is now 5. And then it checks 5 is greater than x. Right? Now my x was earlier changed. X is 4. 5 is greater than 4. Yes, true. Then my x gets changed. X become the number. So x become the number. Number is assigned to x. So num is 5. 5 is assigned to x. Then check the condition. 5 is not equal to -1. So it continues. You take the next number. Number is 2. So then check the condition. Num is greater than x. So 2 is greater than 5. No. So it doesn't do any changes to x. Come here. You check the condition. Num is 2. 2 is not equal to -1. You continue, you get the next number. Number is -1. You check -1 is greater than x. X is still 5. No. So if part will not execute, you come here and you check the condition. Num is -1. Terminal is -1. -1 equals to -1. So you have to stop this repetition. You come out and you display your x. X is 5 still. Okay, so if you go for table like this, it's really easy for you to get the answer. Right? No need to be very systematic and nicely written, but it is really helpful. So your answer will be the fourth one. Consider the following statements regarding computer programs. Variables can contain different values at different times. Yes, that's the difference between variables and constants. Reserved words of a programming language can be used as variable names in that language. No, the keywords you cannot use for the variable names or the identifiers. So only A is correct. So let me show you some reserved words in Pascal, right? So for example, you cannot use do for identifier's name, not for variables, not for constants. Any identifier, you cannot use the word do. You cannot use the word interface. You cannot use the word object because these are keywords, reserved words, right? Next one. 39th one. Consider the following pseudocode. So you read ABC values. Right? They have given the ABC values 50, 30, and 70. Value is 0. Then you check the first condition. A is 50 is greater than 30. No. Right? Yes. 50 is greater than 30. Yes, you come here. You check the next condition. A is 50. 50 is greater than 70. No. You come here. Your value will become C now. That means value will become 70. You display the value. So 70 will be displayed. Right? 40th one. If 0 and 1 respectively are given as inputs for X in the following logic circuit, what would be the two respective outputs at Y? Right? So 0 and 1 given for X. Right? We'll go for the workings. So first we'll write the expression. So here A is there and X negations come here. So this is an AND operation, A into X bar. And here you get X and the bar, sorry, X and the B, and you get the X in B into X, right? The expression. These two are connected with the OR gate, that means a plus, right? Now initially they tell, okay, X is 0. So here X becomes 0. That means this part whole vanish. B into 0 means 0. So this will go. Here it will become 1 negation. So A into 1 is A. Right? In this scenario, X is when X is 1, what happens is here 1 and negation becomes 0. This part will vanish. B into 1 will become B. Right? So the answer would be A and B. A and B. Right? So that's the end of 2019 first paper discussion. So if you haven't still subscribed my channel, please do subscribe. Please share these videos with your friends and add comments. That's very important because I can get your feedback. I can improve myself. I can read how you have benefited from my video. So please do comment. Yeah, so thank you very much.